Warm greetings from the High 10. It is Friday, July 3rd, 2020. Hope you all are safe and keeping cool. Tomorrow is 4th of July, so please be safe out there when traveling and venturing out to said locales and get togethers. And if you're staying home, just stay in and be cool and enjoy your weekend. So glad you all could join me. I want to bring you said information from 12 News, and this is this commentary is in reference to JJ and Tylee Ryan, who were found deceased in a grave on the property of Chad Daybell. And obviously, the mother, Miss Lori Vallow, was involved in the said crime. And I want to bring you information of an interview done by school teachers at the school where JJ attended elementary school. And this is the said information by 12 News. A teacher says that Lori dropped off JJ, picked him up. She was on top of things. She was on top of things as far as picking up the child, dropping him off to school. He attended this school for 2 years in Gilbert, Arizona. Did not see any signs of trouble. You also see in the said commentary 12 News, this video is uploaded on YouTube, so please log on to YouTube 12 News to find the said interview so you can verify it for yourself and see the said information and the interviews done by the school teachers. 2 police videos are in this news interview pertaining to the husband, Mr. Vallow, who was basically explaining to the police that he was troubled by his wife's behavior, that she had ventured to a dark place and was, I guess, going on and on about the religion that she had ventured into, and he felt like it was way too dark. So you will see 2 uploaded videos in this said commentary by the news, and they were dated January 31st, 2019. Lori took JJ out of school 1 month before his disappearance. And the last sighting of JJ and Tylee were allegedly September 23rd. August 2019 was the last day JJ was seen at school. And when he was not told of his dad's death initially. But when he was told, he appeared in school, this is testimony given by a school teacher, that he was very angry, and he had told the teachers that his father was not dead, nor was he in heaven. He was traveling. His body was traveling. Now, where would JJ, small child, get that said information? I'll wait. Could it be perhaps Lori Vallow told her son this ridiculous story of the father's body traveling, that his body was neither in heaven and nor was he dead? Craziness. He was told, small child, JJ, that the school was told, teachers were told that the father died of suicide, but they later learned that Mr. Vallow had died by the internet. That is where they had gained the said information into the death of Mr. Vallow, and that he was murdered by Lori's brother. They were also told that when she was removing JJ from school, Lori Vallow, that she was moving to California with her said child, but instead she moved to Rex, Idaho. The teacher in the said interview gave this statement in reference to JJ. He deserved much better than he got. As you know, Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell are currently incarcerated, $1 million bail. Both received upgraded charges this week. And naturally, she's facing charges where she lived with her children, which would be, I'm assuming, in this Rex, Idaho. Charges of desertion and other said charges. And then we know that the children's bodies were found on the property of Chad Daybell in Idaho. So we're talking about so many different locales, as I stated in the previous video. Arizona, Idaho, Hawaii, Miss Vallow and her current husband, Mr. Daybell, traveling in Hawaii without said children in tow or in sight. No one had heard from the children or seen the children. She removed the child out of school in August of 2019, but he was last seen on, I guess, a video doorbell camera September 2019. So who was keeping him for that whole month? I wonder about that. And when was Kylie actually murdered? Tylee, excuse me. When was the daughter murdered and when was the child murdered? I still have a feeling that the young girl, the daughter, was murdered first due to the fact that Lori hired a babysitter and told her the daughter would be coming in and out to wash her clothes, which she was alluding to the fact that the child was in college, I'm assuming. And also her friend April gave that same testimony in an interview that she told her, Miss April, that the daughter was away at college. So I'm assuming Tylee was murdered first and then she had her son JJ murdered. Lori Vallow was married 2 weeks after Chad Daybell's wife died in her sleep, allegedly. And most of you know who are following the story that Chad Daybell's wife never received an autopsy because that was at the family's request. And you will also hear in this said commentary and different videos about that and news interviews and police statements that no autopsy was performed on the wife. So don't you find it interesting? Lori takes up with this fictional writer who likes to write stories about the apocalypse, and somehow she thinks people are zombies, her children are zombies, but we know better that the only zombie walking around was Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and her damn brother Alex. And I do believe the wife was murdered. Chad Daybell's wife was murdered because if you line up the timeline of all these missing people, dead people, shootings of people, cars, they all line up concurrently, one after the other. All this moving around from Idaho to Arizona to Hawaii, back to Idaho, the foundation has been laid out. A grand plan was put into motion to knock off her husband, to knock off Chad Daybell's wife, to knock off her 2 children, possibly her brother, and the other person who was shot, a gentleman whose car was shot up. It was a elaborate plan. Because at the moment, we're talking about what? 2 children deceased, a wife deceased, a brother deceased. And as I stated in my previous video, why were Chad Daybell's children spared? Very interesting question. The fact that they were married 2 weeks after Chad Daybell's wife dies tells you a lot. It basically seals the deal that a plan had been put in motion to disregard all these people. But I am also wondering if this is a legal marriage, because one interview states it was on Dateline. It states that a ceremony was performed, which the guy who's giving commentary in the Dateline special basically says it's blasphemous for them to be going into this, I guess, holy place to say that they were married and spewing off all type of crazy nonsense from the Bible and yah. As I state, I only see 3 zombies in this situation, and they are not JJ nor Tylee Ryan. That is the said information that I have for you today pertaining to the interview with the school teachers at JJ's school. And one thing that struck me really peculiar in this said 12 News interview, and you can go to YouTube and pull up the news interview. One of the school teachers said that Lori Vallow and Mr. Vallow were model parents. Well, you're going to have to strike one of those off because we now know Lori Vallow was not a model parent. Now, possibly the father was a model parent, flawed perhaps, but he is also a deceased person, murdered by Lori's brother. And with the discovery of the two children found on Chad Daybell's property, I think we all know that Lori Vallow was never a model parent. She was indeed a zombie walking around, emulating, pretending to be a decent human being. She was never a decent mother, and nor was she a model parent, and nor was she a civilized being, because she orchestrated and conspired with her brother Alex and Chad Daybell to murder and dispose of her children like trash in a grave on Mr. Chad Daybell's property. And to willingly know and hook up with that man, knowing he was married, and conspire probably to get rid of her, knowing that he was going to murder his wife. I guess she was a zombie too in the eyes of Lori Vallow and Chad Daybell. And the fact that they could talk the brother into going along with these schemes of getting rid of these children, and also, I believe Lori spun this same zombie apocalypse crazy nonsense to her brother to knock off her husband. You see, this story is more baffling because you see the wheels turning of narcissistic people talking crazy, Christianity mumbo jumbo, and putting in what they want and taking what they want out of the Bible to their own advantage because they are lustful, greedy beings and satisfying their own lustful, greedy sexual gratifications and had no regard for human life, not even their own damn family. Lori knew of the wife, and she tangled up with that man anyway, Mr. Daybell, and she probably knew that he was going to murder his wife, and she used her brother to murder her husband, and he got off on that. Watch the interview of that, them sitting outside talking, and he's patting his head like he got hit in the head by Mr. Vallow. That is some sick, you know what. But I tell you what's more disturbing beside this whole scenario of these two children, this fake marriage, a dead wife, a dead brother now, who we believe is also a zombie who conspired with these other two zombies, Vallow and Daybell. When you see the dead husband in these interviews, it is very creepy because this man was pleading for the safety of his children, talking to the police about his wife and her views of her religion. And now you know he was murdered by her brother. And children found murdered in a grave of the new husband's property. You realize how sick the world is, and you realize that this man was trying to save his children. He was trying to do what he thought was best, but he went back and forth with Lori in their marriage, and it got him killed, and it also got his children killed. And I don't know if he knew that Lori was capable of murder and that she was conspiring with other outside forces to have him murdered and his children murdered, but Lord have mercy. He knew something was wrong with her, and indeed, there is something wrong with Lori Vallow, Chad Daybell, and her deceased brother, Alex. And have mercy on anyone who is following behind Chad Daybell. I also feel sorry for his children because children will love their parents no matter what in certain circumstances, even in murder, even with evidence of murder, conspiring to murder, and they will still love their parents, talk to their parents. Then you may have some children who will turn against their parents and not have anything to do with them. But I don't see how anyone will want to have anything to do with Lori Vallow or Chad Daybell. These people are sinister, and they need to be put 12 feet down. And that's my opinion of them. They don't deserve breath at all because they had no regard for these other people nor those two children. I will bring you said information pertaining to this riveting case. It's depressing because these people were walking around pretending to be human beings. And as you see in this 12 News interview, the teachers thought that both parents of the children were great parents. But I wonder, what does that school teacher and other teachers think now of Lori Vallow? What do you think of Lori Vallow now? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, share, subscribe. Drop your comments below. Thanks for joining me. You all have a safe holiday weekend. God bless you. Stay cool. Check on an elderly person today. Check on someone today. Say hello by phone or stop by and have a quick chat. Everybody's in need of friendship and company because too often people forget about the elderly. I'm always talking about children on this channel, but we need to give a shout out to the elderly because they deserve a little company and camaraderie and companionship as well. Don't ever think because they're older, they're not in need of love and friendship. They do. They do. God bless all of you. Stay safe. This is Everyday Shenanigans. Have a great weekend. Bye-bye.